Far out in the Pacific Ocean, there exists a place that seems almost alien. It is deeper than Mount Everest is tall, darker than the midnight sky, and more hostile to life than anywhere else on Earth. This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on the planet, a colossal scar in the Earth's crust that plunges nearly 7 miles down. For centuries, it was believed to be completely lifeless, too cold, too dark, too crushing for anything to survive. But as explorers dared to descend into this abyss, they discovered something far stranger. This place was not dead. It was alive. And what lurked in the darkness was unlike anything we could have imagined. To grasp the magnitude of this trench, you have to picture it. If Mount Everest were dropped into the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be more than a mile underwater. The pressure down there is so immense it would crush a human body instantly, over 1,000 times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. It is a world without light, without warmth, and with almost no hope for survival. And yet, it exists quietly beneath us, vast and unknown, hiding secrets we are only beginning to glimpse. For most of history, the trench was untouchable. No ship could measure its full depth, no diver could survive its descent. The ocean itself seemed to conspire to keep its mysteries hidden. Early mariners whispered about monsters from the deep. Myths of krakens and leviathans were born from the fear of what lived below. And for a long time, science could not prove otherwise. The trench was simply too dangerous to explore. That changed in the 20th century. In 1960, two men dared to do the unthinkable. Swiss oceanographer Jacques Piccard and US Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh climbed into a tiny spherical submersible called the Trieste. It looked more like a steel ball attached to a floating contraption than a submarine. Its walls were 5 inches thick, designed to withstand unimaginable pressure. On January 23, 1960, they descended into the abyss. For hours, they sank deeper and deeper, leaving behind the sunlight, then the twilight zone, then total darkness. The temperature dropped. The hull groaned under the strain. At nearly 7 miles down, they finally touched the bottom of the Challenger Deep, the lowest point on Earth. What they saw shocked them. Instead of barren emptiness, they found life. Strange, shrimp-like creatures darted outside their tiny porthole. Incredibly, there were even signs of flatfish moving along the seafloor. Against all odds, in a place where no human should exist, life was thriving. Their mission proved once and for all that the deepest parts of the ocean were not dead. They were alive, and waiting. But here's the unsettling part. For decades after that descent, no one returned. The trench remained untouched, as if humanity had taken one daring glance and then quickly looked away. It wasn't until 2012, more than 50 years later, that another human dared to descend into Challenger Deep. This time, it was filmmaker James Cameron, alone in his submersible, the Deep-Sea Challenger. For nearly 2 hours he fell through the water column, into the blackness, until at last he reached the bottom. His cameras revealed a barren landscape, strange and alien, stretching endlessly in every direction. It was like standing on another planet. And then, the creatures appeared. Cameron's expedition found giant amphipods, shrimp-like animals the size of lobsters, living in the mud. They discovered bizarre, transparent sea cucumbers, jelly-like creatures gliding along the bottom. Even more disturbingly, they found microorganisms that had adapted to survive pressures that would crush steel. These life forms didn't just live in the abyss, they thrived there. But with every discovery came new fear. Samples taken from the trench revealed something horrifying: plastic pollution. Even here, in the most remote and hostile environment on Earth, human trash had found its way. Tiny fibers of plastic were embedded in the stomachs of trench-dwelling creatures. Toxic chemicals were detected in their bodies at levels higher than anywhere else on the planet. It was as if humanity's fingerprints had reached the last untouched frontier. The abyss was no longer pure, it had been tainted. And yet, the life that persists there continues to amaze and disturb us. Amphipods with antifreeze-like chemicals in their blood. Sea cucumbers shaped like translucent balloons. ghostly snailfish with skin so thin you can see their organs glowing in the darkness. These are creatures that defy everything we know about biology, stretching the very definition of life itself. Scientists believe some of their unique traits may even hold medical secrets, clues to fighting diseases or surviving extreme environments. But not all the trench secrets are biological. Some are geological. The Mariana Trench is not just deep, it is violent. It marks the boundary where one tectonic plate plunges beneath another in a process called subduction. This is where the Earth's crust is recycled, dragged into the mantle, and melted into magma. The forces here are unimaginable. Earthquakes rip through the region, some of the most powerful in history. Volcanoes erupt in nearby island chains, fueled by the trench's grinding plates. In many ways, the Mariana Trench is a window into the living, breathing engine of our planet. And then there are the sounds. Hydrophones dropped into the trench have picked up strange, eerie noises, long, metallic groans, sharp booms, and whistles that echo through the darkness. Some of these can be explained by earthquakes or whale calls. Others remain a mystery. In 2016, scientists recorded a sound unlike anything ever heard before. It was dubbed the Western Pacific Biotwang, a 5-second descending noise that rose again in frequency, recorded at depths of over 36,000 feet. No one knows for certain what made it. Some believe it is the call of a yet undiscovered whale species. Others think it could be something else entirely. Every time we peer into the trench, we are reminded of how little we know. For example, in 2017, researchers discovered microbes living in the trench that consume methane, a greenhouse gas. These microbes may play a crucial role in regulating Earth's climate, hidden in the darkness all along. In 2018, another expedition found crustaceans with plastic in their guts, proof that no corner of the Earth is safe from human impact. In 2019, deep-sea explorers filmed the deepest living fish ever found, a snailfish swimming nearly 27,000 feet below the surface. Its translucent body, fragile and ghostly, moved effortlessly through crushing darkness where no human could survive. And then came an even more unsettling discovery. In the mud of Challenger Deep, researchers found bacteria carrying genes for antibiotic resistance. These bacteria had never been exposed to humans, never touched by medicine, and yet they carried the tools to resist drugs. It was a chilling reminder that evolution is relentless, even in the most isolated corners of the world. Some scientists fear that studying these microbes could unlock new medical treatments. Others worry they could unleash new threats if ever released from the deep. But perhaps the most haunting part of the Mariana Trench is this: we have explored less than 1% of it. Everything we know, the strange fish, the giant amphipods, the eerie sounds, is just the beginning. The remaining 99% is a vast, uncharted wilderness where anything could exist. And if history has taught us anything, it's that the most terrifying discoveries are the ones we never expect. What if there are predators in the abyss, larger than anything we've ever seen? What if creatures we thought extinct, ancient monsters from Earth's past, still roam in the blackness? Even conservative scientists admit, we simply don't know. Every expedition into the trench feels less like a scientific mission and more like stepping into a cosmic horror story. Because down there, you are as close to an alien world as you can be without leaving Earth. The Mariana Trench reminds us of a simple truth: we are not the masters of this planet. For all our satellites, our rockets, our skyscrapers, most of Earth is still a mystery. And the greatest mystery of all lies hidden beneath 7 miles of crushing black ocean, waiting in silence. So the next time you stand on a beach, staring at the horizon, remember, out there, far beneath the waves, lies a world that is darker, stranger, and more dangerous than anything your imagination could conjure. And in that world, life endures, alien, unyielding, and terrifyingly unknown. Because the Mariana Trench is not empty. It never was.